I'm going to call this session Secret Singer Business. And it's things that we have to deal with as singers, and it probably is of interest to instrumentalists or anyone else who has to work with singers as well. And there's quite a few things that are particular to us about how we practice, how we relate to other people, how we move through our work, and how we move through our world when we're not being singers. So I have a list here. There's going to be days where everyone else in your family is going to the football on a Saturday afternoon, and they're all going to yell for 3.5 hours, and then they're going to go and have dinner together and they're going to yell, and you're not going to be able to yell because you have a concert to do that night or the next day. And this is the reality of being a singer, because you are your instrument, and that has a lot of implications. You need to look after your voice. So one of the things that I find that is boring sometimes, it's really boring being a singer. I can't go and yell for 3.5 hours if I have a concert the next day. I can't have a big cheesy pasta with lots of orange juice and fill up my stomach and then go and sing, because it's not going to work as well. So I want to really give you permission to not be precious, but just as part of yourself as a singer, to know when you need to back off some things and look after the voice. No one else needs to know. It's not an issue for anyone else, but do take care of yourself in the way that you need to, so that you can give your best in performance. I ran a workshop for singers once, and I secretly made a list during the workshop called Reasons Not to Sing. And it was all the things that people said during this 2-day workshop. And some of these were, I have allergies, I can't do it very well. I've got a bit of a cold, so it's not going to be very good. I didn't get very much sleep last night, so I'm a bit tired, so it's not going to be very good. I haven't learnt all the words, so it's not going to be very good. I've got a bit of asthma today. I had a bit of asthma, so my breathing, it's not going to be as good. There are always reasons why it's not going to be as good. This is the thing about singing. We want it to be amazing and fabulous, but often we're not in optimum situations. And I would really encourage you, when those voices come on that tell you that in your head that I'm not being as good as I want to be, let them be at peace and just do your best and really enjoy just doing your best, because as you go into performance situations, you never get to choose when you're going to sing. You're going to always have to just do what you can on the day. So practice that when you go to singing lessons, when you're singing with other people. Just do what you can on the day, looking after yourself, and really enjoy it. This is something not everyone knows, but the audience have come to love you. They have come to the concert and they want to love the singer. And not everyone knows this, and don't tell them, but this is something we can hold as part of our fuel. You know that experience of loving singers. I know you do. You love other singers. I know there's singers I completely love, and I listen to them over and over again. There's something magical about someone connecting with us and communicating with us. And so be very clear that that's what's happening when you're on stage too. And that if you have your skills together and you've learnt the song and you're in a happy place, you're really doing your best, that the audience, they're not judging you, they're wanting to love and adore you. So take that as a bit of fuel and make that connection with the audience, because it's magic. Singer has magic there. So really believe in yourself and where you want to go with the song. Your home may not be the most conducive place to practice. There might be babies there who are needing to sleep, so you can't sing. A whole bunch of your relatives may have turned up and need to stay there are staying for 2 weeks. How do you practice? Or maybe you've had a cold and you don't want to be singing on your voice, but you still want to be working. There are lots of things you can do. You can memorize the words. Just dig in, sit with the words and memorize all the words. You can memorize the chords, you can memorize all the parts of the instruments. They may be cues for where your entry points are. You may become familiar by looking at the score or listening to all the different parts. Really, you can really familiarize yourself in other ways other than just singing. Do the physical work. I can't encourage this enough, and I think this isn't practiced enough. Go to the side of the room, practice walking on, and mime through the whole song. Do the breathing, the words. You can do it all in silence. You might need to organise your music, the music stand, and walk off. Can you stand there for 3.5 minutes? Can you stand there for half an hour, or for however long the work is? Is it an hour-long show? You can walk through the whole show without singing, and you will learn a lot. You can think, what is the feeling here? What is the message I'm conveying? Practice your tongue twisters. It's another thing you can do when you're not singing. You can work on your songbook, your collection of your songs, the songs that you love singing, the songs that you might sing at a wedding or at an audition. Another thing you can do is research an artist. And I would encourage you to do this, not too much, not to copy them, but for example, someone like Brian Eno, might not even be a singer, someone who's had a lifetime of creation, Prince. There's lots of people. Have a look at their whole life, at what the different phases of their life. Become familiar with the idea of an artist or a performer, and that they don't just become something suddenly, that they go through different phases and they're interested in different things at different times. Another thing that you can do is read out loud, and I know that may seem a little bit off track, but if you're a singer, you're going to be often asked to speak as well, to speak on stage, and people will assume that you can speak. So read out poems, become familiar with words, put words into your mouth, become very comfortable speaking high, maybe comfortable speaking low, use chest voice, use whisper. Read poems, become familiar with people who work with words, because that's one of your tools. Words are one of your tools. Another thing you can do is get a microphone and play with technology. That's really fun. Often you're expected to have a microphone, and it's good sometimes to be able to turn up at a gig. You can get really cheap ones. Sometimes it's good to have your own microphone so you know its sound. One of the things that is specific to being a singer is that you are your instrument. So you can never step away from it. And so direction from other people, or criticism, or comments even to yourself, or notes to yourself, can feel personal because it's about you. And there's a whole lot of skill that's needed to be able to take criticism, to be able to be kind to yourself when you've done a performance. And that's really important to learn, to be generous to yourself and to be open to hearing constructive notes, but at the same time looking after yourself. And that might mean having time out or time away where you don't think about yourself as a singer, times when you really look after yourself, and really times when you catch yourself feeling negative about yourself because of your singing. It doesn't help at all to feel bad about yourself. There's nothing productive in that. Another thing that comes up for singers is how big and huge you need to be on stage, and then instantly turn that off when you're off stage or after the show. So you need to, there's a lot of self-care and mental health care that you need to do, and that's an ongoing process, and I don't think that gets easier as you get older. You might become more familiar with the issues, but really attending to your own care, what you need after a performance, whether you need to just have 2 minutes to settle down after a performance before you go and see people in the foyer. All these things, when you might like to have feedback. Do you want to hear it straight after a show, or do you want 10 minutes before someone comes and tells you what you might need to do or how to change something? So become aware of how you like to work during a performance, but also after the performance and in the breaks. Think about how you're practicing. So sometimes people will practice by starting at the beginning of the song and just singing the whole song over and over and over. And yes, you need to do that sometimes, but practice is not performance. What you risk doing there is actually practicing your errors or practicing mistakes. And what you want to do is practice in chunks, practice the things that require work, or practice in chunks so that you learn the verse, or so that you really nail the chorus. So really have a working approach to your practice. It's not performance, it's different from performance. Remember to be brave. You need to be brave to stand up on the stage in front of lots of people, and it does take courage. But there's a lot of rewards for that when you really know the work and you're really singing out. It's amazing to be able to communicate and deliver the piece of music that you've been working towards. One thing I'll guarantee is that where you are now is not where you're going to be in 5 years, because I know I'll be in a different place in 5 years, doing different work, working with new people or on a new show. So keep building your skills, keep practicing, build up the songs you like, build up your aesthetic, build up your taste, what you like listening to, why you like listening to that, which performers you love. And let all those things guide you and prepare you for the next phases in your music life.